Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the PRA podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in again. This is another live episode. Again, this is going to be, you guys will be able to watch this early as well. And I'm going to post this in the Facebook group early also. But this is kind of that precursor. So if you guys are watching this right now, you guys are watching on Instagram Live. Yeah. Don't forget, you guys can catch the live podcast the week before every week. It just depends on what day I'm doing them. So I try to do it on the Facebook group, but you apparently cannot do your videos sideways, which I think is a little weird. So I went back to Instagram Live because it's just a little bit better. But today, guys, I'm really wanting to talk about starting your foundation. When it came to starting the whole thing that I'm doing right now, it wasn't until I completely kind of enveloped in who I am that I realized, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to pursue, and this is what I want to accomplish. And, actually, like right now, I'm hitting that point where I'm trying to get my career to match who I am and what I'm doing. And that's one of the hardest things that you can do. But you typically feel that way because you don't know who you are yet. Like you don't know every little nuanced thing that makes you tick. So you have yet to kind of create that solid foundation underneath yourself to just be able to capitalize on stuff and to be able to add on and gain anything from it realistically. So I'm wanting to talk a little bit about starting your foundation. I wanted to read a little bit from my book, Jerichos Journey. And again, if you guys have not already gotten Jerichos Journey, please feel free to get it on Amazon or just send me a message saying you want a free copy, and I'll let you know how to get. I'll let you know the details on how to get a free copy as well. So realistically, though, what I'm wanting to do is just read this little excerpt from my book, so that way you guys can get kind of an idea of where this is going. And so what I'm going to do is the same thing as I always do. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to read this. I'm going to tell you guys some examples of stuff, and I'm going to give you guys some tactics at the end that are going to help kind of create your foundation and help you with starting it. So let me dive into this real quick. So start your foundation. Much as a tree has roots, basically our internal body is our roots and our external body is our tree. Everything begins from inside the body, starting with the brain, stemming into the food that you consume and how that food is processed. So we need to first be aware of what goes into our bodies to begin to be healthy and be able to have any type of control over the face of adversity. In knowing this, it is crucial to make sure that diet, exercise, as well as stretching, moving around, and being outside are continuously and consistently playing a role in your daily habits. It's always important to move. It's important to move. It's important to figure out what you're eating and what kind of stuff is going into your body. I know it doesn't seem like it's making that much of a difference, especially if you're one of those people where it's like, oh, I can just eat this one thing. It's not really going to affect me. I can eat this. It's not going to affect me. There are studies now that show that your gut, like literally your stomach, your gut is literally linked to your personality. So if you're constantly throwing stuff at your gut that's unhealthy, that is causing you to have a leaky gut or have some sort of issues with that, I mean, it can be as simple as making the transition of what you know you're eating into what you know you should be eating. So you have to watch what you're eating and you have to watch what you're ingesting, because that's ultimately going to affect the way that you think, the way that you feel, all these different pieces that play a role into who you are and who your character is. So make sure you're moving around, make sure you're eating right, make sure and it doesn't have to be this crazy diet, just make sure you're eating healthy. Make sure you're eating as healthy as you can. That's really all that matters. There are cells throughout our body that are continually changing and evolving. Although I may not know all the science behind it, the basis of what is happening inside the body should at least be identified. The food that we eat contains what we need, and this allows us to feel good or bad, happy or sad. The things that most people do not know is what is in the food that is eaten is mostly contained of processed sugar and flour, which spike insulin levels and have been known to cause in excess amounts diabetes, as well as several other health complications. So, and to go even further with that, I think you triple your your likelihood of getting dementia when you're obese. So it all just literally comes from starting with how you treat your body, what you're feeding and what you're giving your brain, basically. You know what I mean? So this is why it is essential to be aware and begin to form the foundation of which the desired outcome can be achieved. Set yourself up for success. Most actors that need to gain and lose weight for movie roles also need to work out as well as eat with stringent guidelines. Actors such as Mark Wahlberg agree that between diet and exercise, what is preferred are the workouts. However, the eating right, having mindfulness, and controlling the emotions are all that entails the health pillar of fulfillment. So when you're talking about health, what I talk about is having the mindfulness, the controlling of the emotions, and being able to eat right. Those are all mental, physical, and spiritual health. And if you notice, Mark Wahlberg, he says that the exercise is the easiest part. That means that the diet is not easy. That means that the fact that you don't want to eat that thing because it doesn't really taste that good, that's not abnormal. That's completely normal. But the difference is the people who know that they shouldn't eat it and don't feel a lot better, are a lot healthier, and have a lot better habits just overall than the person who's partaking, than the person who is knowingly doing what they shouldn't be doing. So in the next chapter, the cycle of fulfillment will be talked about, and it will go over building health, relationships, and the steps to finding your purpose and how to apply it into daily life. No matter what your idea of success is, it will always be able to be achieved. But that's not what it is ultimately about. It's about who you're becoming. I believe that most people want money until they realize what they actually desire. As they go through their emotions and begin to sift between themselves, asking the more profound questions and reconfiguring the stories in which have been narrated within their heads. It will also discuss how to be grateful and how to focus energy on things that matter and not just things that are attributing to the excess stress. Stress itself can be a terrible catalyst to many diseases, so it is vital to our health to manage it. And that's actually true. I literally have a video up that you guys can check out, honestly, if you want. I think it's the feeling versus experiencing your emotions, where I talk about that. I talk about what stress does to your body, the cortisol levels. It literally messes you up. It's like a slow death sentence. So you definitely have to manage your stress. And one way that you can manage your stress is by slowly just asking those questions and starting to develop a system, a Rolodex for yourself. I made a video on that as well. So you guys can create a Rolodex for yourself, and that hopefully that'll help you kind of with these different loops and these trigger habits and all of these different things going on. So it can be caused by several factors, such as a job, and we're talking about stress right now, such as a job, coworker, spouse, environment, finances, school. The list really goes on. Other chapters of this book will help isolate and identify the underlying causes and begin to let go of the unwanted stress. As you can clearly see, I'm nobody special. I'm an average husband, father, writer, podcaster, and now an author. I just figured out how to tap into something that would allow me to feel fulfillment from within and be able to have the faith that things are happening as they are supposed to. Hope is for the past, faith is for the future, and we are the path. Now, let's get into the cycle and how it operates in our daily life. And again, that's where I'm talking about when I talk about foundation. You have to realize that hope is the past and faith is the future. You have to realize that you are the path regardless. And so some of the examples that I gave and some more examples would just be, like I said, trees have roots. So the internal body is like, and our consciousness are like the roots. Okay. So the further you dig deeper and deep down with your roots, the more beautiful the tree will become. It might take a little while, but it's going to get there. You know what I mean? Now there has been, like I said, there's been more and more studies showing just how bad the food that we eat makes us feel in correlation to how our microbiome responds to certain things. So, and you guys can look this up. I mean, if you eat a food and it does something to your stomach, whether it's good or bad, like whether it tastes good or bad, if it's bad for your stomach, for your particular setup that you got here, if it's bad for that, basically you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it in your personality. Your attitude's going to change. You're not going to be as upbeat. Your energy's not really going to be there. And there's not a lot of awareness of the fact that that's what's going on. See, because I mean, if you think about it, the unhealthy food is cheaper, so why not go for it? But it's just these little tweaks that you have to do. It doesn't have to be these major things. Honestly, if you start major and you start just converting these mass differences, you probably will get sick. You got to slowly kind of work your way into this. And it's definitely not easy because it's going to take some like budgeting. It's going to take, really good calculation. Like you're going to have to maybe meal prep. And you're going to have to be very, very accurate about like what you're getting it for, what you're making with it, all that stuff. Because we tend to, and when I say we, I mostly mean like me and my family, we tend to like overeat on certain days or overindulge in certain things or don't eat enough of this and it goes to waste or something like that. So not only do you have to like be able to watch what you eat, you also have to be able to manage the times and manage the frequencies that you're eating as well. Because for me, I mean, I have to eat pretty much all day, and that's actually a challenge. It's just because my metabolism is so fast. I'm always hungry. And every time I eat, I can feel it kind of digesting. I'm like, man, I'll be hungry another 10 minutes. And what do you know? I'm hungry in another 10 minutes. But I think the goal is to just be aware and be conscious of the dense foods and the bad foods and the really healthy. Like you just got to be conscious and find a good middle ground and a balance in between. So that way you're starting off right and you're starting off on a good fit or on a good foot, and you actually have a good foundation to kind of build leverage on. And then also, basically, okay, yeah, like I was saying, also, there's studies showing that their gut is like another brain, so it affects our mood and ultimately our entire character. So you really got to take that into consideration when you think about, what's going on with me, why am I in such a crappy mood? It can all be kind of reflected back into what you ate that day. It kind of just trips me out sometimes when I think about it. But there are a lot more studies being shown about this now, but it wasn't a thing. It really wasn't a thing before. And now it's slowly but surely starting to be more prominent as far as like, oh, the gut is an actual brain. Like it does have the ability to like allow you to feel certain things and allow you to make certain decisions. So first off, as far as when it comes to the tactics go, so let me give you guys some tactics now. As far as the tactics go, you got to be aware of what goes in. That's going to be number one. So be aware of what goes in. Be aware of your diet. You don't have to necessarily change it right now. Don't even worry about it. But at least log it down. Like at least write it down somewhere and know, okay, this is my diet. Like this is what I'm eating all week. Like just write it out as you're eating it. And then you'll see, and you can help you keep yourself accountable. You can see all the junk that you're eating. And when you download apps like Calorie Counter or MyFitnessPal or something like that, they can count the calories for you with all the macros. So that way you know exactly what you're getting and you know exactly how much of everything it is. And then you can kind of slowly tweak even more a little bit, and you can start to tell, you start to know like, hey, look, I'm low on my vitamin E, so maybe that's why I'm not feeling too like upbeat and high energy. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have a lot of vitamin C in my system. Maybe that's why I'm getting sick all the time. Like there's reasons for everything. And when you can kind of reverse engineer that and figure out, okay, well, I'm feeling like this. What did I eat? You can kind of track it and then substitute certain things for other things. You know how you're always thinking like, how do they know so much about like how to make certain foods and stuff? That's wise, because it's all trial and error. All right. Number 2, be realistic about the goals and about the money. Because basically what happens is when you're unrealistic about things, you have these false expectations going on. And part of being in a foundational set and a foundational standpoint is not letting too many things kind of excite you and not letting too many things kind of like take you off the beaten path and off the vision. So be realistic about things and don't just over exaggerate. Say, you know what, I'm going to make $1 million, because that's a really fast track to get discouraged. It's not a very sturdy foundation. Be realistic and say, you know what, I'm going to make 2 times more than I did last year. write the numbers down, and hold yourself accountable. But be realistic about it. Don't say 1 million if you've never even like had or seen that much before in your life. Like literally say, okay, you know what? I made about 10 grand overall in the last year or two. So what I'm going to do in this next year is I'm going to try and make 15. I'm going to try and make 10. I'm going to try and like just up the ante a little bit, but be realistic about it. So that way it's something real that you can shoot for. You're not just kind of cracking before you scale. Number 3, nourish yourself. And I don't mean with just water, even though you definitely need to nourish yourself with some water. Drink water. You got to drink a lot of water. To go with that, you also got to shower yourself with love. Like you can't judge yourself. You got to care about yourself. You can't just sit there and not take care of yourself. You can't just sit there like in a corner and just sulk. And that's what so many people do. And that's, I've done it too. I've done it where I'm sitting in there. I'm just like, man, why do I got to go through this? Or like, woe is me, blah, blah, blah. I don't deserve this. And it's like, nope. You got to be accountable. Like, nope. And I think that when it comes to discipline, we get confused, right? We say, well, I got to be disciplined, so I can't have that. It's like, no, you love yourself enough too much. Like you love yourself too much to let yourself have that chocolate, or you love yourself too much to let yourself go down that path again, or you love yourself too much to let yourself do this to yourself again. So switch that. Don't think of discipline as like this punishment. Think about it as self-love, self-care type thing. And number 4, stress less. I know that it's hard not to stress, but one of the things that I always do, and one of the things that's definitely helped me out, is breathing. I know it doesn't seem like much, but when you can really breathe and you can really take a deep breath, it allows you to come back to center. It allows you to really think. It allows you to kind of refocus. I'm going to tell you right now, it's so easy to stress. It's so easy to think about the things that are wrong, but it's so much harder. And the reason why it's so much harder is because it's worth it. It's so much harder to think of the good. It's so much harder to let go and surrender to what is. And that's part of like really, I think, what goes with intuition and all that stuff, and guidance and following your heart and all that stuff, is just doing what is there. Like, do what is in front of you. Take it as it is. And if something else comes along, or if something, should shift your focus a little bit, dive into the curiosity. You know what I mean? But you need to understand that your life is yours. Your life is yours, and you can pick and choose however you want it to happen and unfold. It's just a matter of like you putting in the work and you actually like executing, and you actually doing the things that feel right. Because if you don't, you will crack before you start to scale. And that's everybody's goal. Everybody's goal is to scale. Everybody's goal is to be better than they were. Everybody's goal is to make more money. Everybody's goal is to innovate, right? Everybody's goal is to consistently be growing and improving. And that's exactly what it's about, because if you're not growing, you're shrinking. And that's exactly how I feel about that. But for those of you who are kind of just starting out and you're not very self-aware and you just are really stuck and you're kind of like, I know what I love, but I don't know how to pursue it. The things that, that I just kind of went over will definitely help you with that. Because, if you're in a place right now where you're unsure, check what you're eating. Maybe your mind's just cloudy because you haven't really been on a good, healthy diet. Like maybe your mind is just cloudy because your gut is cloudy. Being realistic about the goals. I mean, if you're not where you are, look to see where your goals fall. Have you even written down goals? You know what I mean? Like your goals need to be something that you're constantly trying to hit, but you also got to be specific about it, because if you're not specific about it, like let's say, you you want a job. You want a job, but you're not specific about what kind of job. You're not specific about how much you want to make. You're not specific about the hours. So you just get all these interviews, some for $8, some for $9, some for $2,000, some for $8 million. But you're not specific about exactly what kind of work or the kind of pay or anything. So you're not finding anything, but you do get what you look for. You've always got to remember that. If you're not where you want to be, that's why you got to nourish yourself with love and shower yourself not with pity, because pity is pretty much the result of high judgment, little worth. So you've got to flip that. You got to have little judgment, high worth. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, what you'll notice is you start to feel a lot better about who you are. You start to accept yourself a lot more, start to accept your situation and just be accountable for where you're at, but not dwell and sulk in the corner, just kind of feeling bad for yourself. You know what I mean? And stressing less. I mean, if you're not where you want to be, I can honestly probably say it's because you're stressing too much. It's because you're forcing too much to happen. You want the perfect life. You want all of these perfect things. You want everything to work out perfectly. But that is manipulation. And that's not truth. That's not love. That's none of the two highest vibrations. So you're not going to attract anything if your vibration is down here at manipulation. And then you're getting frustrated on top of that. So you're minimizing and you're depreciating your vibration. You're not strengthening your vibration, making it go faster, making it kind of attract better things and good things. You're kind of bringing it back down, and you're attracting these low quality things, and you're getting even more frustrated. And trust me, I completely get it. I completely get it. It's so hard to just maintain your poise, but you've got to. That's part of having a sturdy foundation. And the ones, I can tell you right now, the ones that have created longevity in themselves in this market, in this day and age, that's one of the primary reasons why, is because they just keep going. Every time they get knocked down, they got that perseverance. They got it. They know what they're doing. They're not going to let anything deter them from their path. And you've got to be the exact same way. But you've also got to discipline yourself and do the small things to continue to build momentum and continue to build confidence within what you can do. Because a lot of people, they have this false sense of confidence, and then their moment comes and then they fail, and then they get down on themselves. Don't do that. Don't judge. Create a good foundation. Create a sturdy foundation, and always be learning. Always be a student, because that's how you're going to strengthen it even further. And that's how you'll scale, by building relationships, by being a student, by having the humility to know when you're wrong. It all trickles, like I always talk about. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Remember to have a good foundation. Just have a good foundation. Start it now. And if you need help starting it, boom. Check out my book, Jerichos Journey. It's available on Amazon. If you guys want a free copy, like I said, just message me. I'll get you guys a free copy also. I'm giving out free copies to anybody who messages me watching this video. So this is a video, and if you guys are listening to the podcast right now, message me on any platforms, and I'll get you a free book. I'll let you know how to do it and everything like that. I'll give you all the details. But just please message me if you're watching this or hearing this, and message me free book. All right. But good luck, guys. And don't forget to just never give up. If there's any help that you guys need, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Don't forget to check out the podcast, new interview podcast on Friday, as well as every Friday. Don't forget to join the group. Sign up for the newsletter to get all the updates. And follow me on all social media at smartinezIV. Don't forget to subscribe below, and don't forget to tap the bell for any new notifications as well. So good vibes, guys, and talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching.